that prisoners can maintain their innocence and that no inference is to be drawn against them for making that assertion. The reason the law has changed on this subject is they have come to realize that not all prisoners are guilty, that there have been so many cases where people have been wrongfully convicted that it would be extremely unfair to coerce prisoners that maintain their innocence to say that they're guilty as a precondition of release, since society itself must admit that all human processes, including the trial process, is flawed and does not necessarily arrive at the truth. I mean, there's so many cases where there have been what seemingly overwhelming evidence has, where the person has ended up being exonerated.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I mean, there was a huge number of cases before DNA, which subsequent to DNA were reinvestigated, and it turned out the people that were convicted were innocent. I mean, there's that famous Florida case where a guy had been convicted of 7 rapes by 7 women that independently identified him as their rapist, and it turned out not only was it not him, but it was a guy that was almost a foot taller, 100 pounds heavier, just massively different, and you just wonder how that can happen. Now, in my case, we have no blood, no bullets, no body. We have a guy that was saying that he was going to run research Brazilian extradition treaties, likely changed his hair the day before he disappeared, his hair color the day before he disappeared, and was subsequently seen by like 10 independent, uninvolved citizen witnesses who they attested to as being alive. So it's pretty interesting to see how the judicial process could go wrong in my case when it's all based upon a he-said sort of inference, like Joe said that he killed him, therefore not only must he be dead, but Joe would, of course, tell the truth on such a subject. That's the common inference. And, of course, that inference ignores the actual real-world dynamics of what was taking place between me, the various factions in the BBC at the time, and Ron Levin. There was a lot of deceit going on, pretense and posturing. Everybody was trying to manipulate each other through smoke and mirrors. And my assertion at the June 24th, 1984 meeting that I had knocked off Ron Levin was part of the posturing and the dynamics, between me and a faction of the BBC that was trying to, and ultimately did, steal the crown jewels of the BBC, raided some of our accounts, and took our attrition mills after torching with an acetylene torch a lock and the warehouse and the doors on the warehouse in Gardena for Microgenesis in North America.